Welcome to English 2. I am your instructor, Kylene Bromley. You'll find more information about me on the introduction discussion, which will be your first assignment. Should be pretty fun and easy. Just need a really quick blurb, description of yourself. I gave you an example. And you can include pictures, you can include videos, TikToks, whatever you want to share who you are, because the biggest thing that we are going to be covering in this class is understanding identity. So go for that. Just a quick little synopsis of me. I do have two masters. I've been teaching at Butte since 2017, but I've been teaching for at least almost 20 years. So I've been doing this a long time. Every semester I try and do something a little different. This semester we will be doing play posits, and as you go through our Canvas, you'll start to understand what that means. It's okay if it feels a little bit unsure at first, but you will absolutely get into the swing of things. I try and keep things very consistent to make it a little bit easier. Don't be overwhelmed with any of the information that I give you. Just read it piecemeal. There is studies that our attention span has dwindled, and you might not even have gotten this far in the video, which I hope you finish watching, because it's really important. That way you know exactly how to succeed in this class. First and foremost, read everything that I give you, watch everything, and then turn in your work. Very easy way of succeeding. Just because you turn it in doesn't mean you will get an A, but turning it in is a heck of a lot better than not. So if you are a perfectionist, don't worry, do your best. As long as you get it into me, we're going to go from there. All right. The thing that you are going to see, and this is how it will go, is you go into modules first. I'll show you how to do that in the Canvas walkthrough. Always go to your modules first. Go to the week that we are on. You will have your lecture and readings. Go readings first. Go all the way down, read the information, then do the play posit. And the reason why I do that is because there's oftentimes in that little short reading that I give you right before the play posit, that's going to give you information to succeed, because the play posits have quizzes. It adds up really fast. So please make sure that you do all the quizzes and read all of the assignments that I give you and watch all of the play posits. So I try and make it as painless as possible. And it's not just me always sitting there lecturing. I give you as much as I can from other avenues to really kind of make you feel less like I'm talking at you and more engaging, if that makes sense. So I try my best. It's not always easy online, but we do what we can, and I think you'll very much enjoy this class. So biggest thing is you want to become a better composer in this class, and to do that, I'm going to give you some practice, and some of that practice is going to be reading, writing, and research. Okay, so I'm going to give you this. There's also a Canvas walkthrough. Please watch it. I'll try and make it as quick and simple as I can, just to kind of show you where you want to go and how things are going to look for you. After that, I'm going to go over really quick homework, and you will always have homework. I know that hurts your feelings, but you know what? Totally worth it. Majority of the readings I give you are either easy or they're, engaging. There's always something. Like, if I want to read it, then you'll probably want to read it, is my assumption, because I have the attention span of a gnat. So anyway, if you have kind of, problems with sitting for too long, my suggestion is don't try and do this class in one sitting. If you need to take it piecemeal, if you need to pause through the videos, because again, the videos are a lecture. It's as if you're sitting for an entire class, but you can pause, you can always rewind, but you can't fast forward. So just think about that, but you can always rewind. So, and the reason why I don't fast forward is because what happens is sometimes students accidentally go over the quizzes, and I don't want you to miss that. And the quizzes are easy. If you're doing the reading and listening, you're fine. Quizzes are easy. It's easy points. So anyway, take a look at some of the information I have here on the quizzes. Again, always read before the lecture. Always just do the reading. They should be pretty easy. Anyway, just do the readings. I know I'm going to hammer that into you because it's really important. And you'll see as you go through, halfway through, oh my God, I wish I had done the readings. That's what happens in this class. So get on it. Give yourself time. If you're busy, you've got work, you've got kids, you've got, things going on, just give yourself time knowing that it adds up. Lectures can go up to about an hour and 20 minutes, so account for that. It's as if you're in class, but you're playing a video. You can take the videos with you. There's closed caption. There's ways that you can watch the video that can still be engaging. Just make sure you do those quizzes. And the readings before. Did I say that 1,000 times? Yes, because I mean it. Okay, so you'll have your readings, you're going to have your play pause it video, and then you're going to have it's discussions, but it's also reading responses. So you might see those words interchanging a little bit. Don't panic, it's the same thing. It's the discussion board, but it's a reading response. So you just want to be responding to the reading. You'll see if you don't do the reading and you try and do the discussion, you're just going to like want to pull your hair out. So I give you this warning ahead of time because I do grade the discussions. And the reason why I do that is I don't get to interact with you in person, so I interact with you through your readings or through your reading responses. And that just kind of helps me know where you're at, what are you getting, what are you not getting. And I can't make you read, but it will help you in the responses. So anyway, I do grade them, and majority of it in my rubrics are pretty easy. I actually include the rubric in the discussion. And so for the reading response rubric, you get 5 points for an objectionable view. And what that, or objectionable view. In other words, pull your emotions out, pull your feelings, pull your opinions out, and just tell the readings. Like the discussion that I give you will pretty much tell you exactly what I want you to answer. But I do make a point of trying to get you just to look at something objectively. Like pull out your emotions, however you feel about it. That's okay. We all have feelings. Totally get it. You'll have time for research on your narrative, to have that discussion. But for now, read the thing. What's it saying? And apply it. Apply one reading to the other reading. It's critical thinking. Super easy. 5 points there. And then what is your understanding of the reading? Again, the response to the questions I give you will show me your understanding of the reading. It's pretty easy. And last but not least, so that was 5 points. Last but not least, another 5 points for responding to at least 3 peers. The reason why it's very important that you respond to 3 peers is that's interaction. I might have us do some group work. I'm not sure yet. It's a little bit harder when we do it online. But just be mindful. Look at what your peers are saying. Interact with them. Like imagine we're in class in person, but have that discussion. And I know we all do it in social media anyway, and it's sometimes we feel a little more comfortable, and we have discussions when we're behind a screen. So we can do that. But just be very mindful. It's not just a check, like a box to check off for the peer responses. No, like, oh, that's cool, or I agree, like, what do you agree about? Tell me more. So just make it a thorough discussion. As a heads up, if you don't do all 3 of those reading responses, I cannot give you full credit. If you don't do any of the responses, I can't give you any credit. So the whole reason why I do this is because it helps you to engage in other people's ideas and maybe how they're interpreting the reading, and you're like, oh, I didn't think of that. Because when I give lecture, I try and give a little bit, but it's really important that we have that discussion with one another. So anywho, just make sure that you're thorough, because what happens is, and I've seen this before, students don't respond to other students and they get a terrible grade. And I hate grading, but it's kind of like for me, I used to work for a video game magazine, so I think of getting points. I'm like, ooh, points. And the only thing is, you pretty much get the points as long as you're engaging. It's easy. It's a very easy video game if that's how you want to think of it. Anyway, you can go through on where it says start here, week 1, right where this video is, right below it. You can kind of follow me in how I'm talking about homework and quizzes and reading responses. Again, peer responses, just make sure that you're considerate, right? That's just like the biggest thing. Totally okay if you question the reading, if you question what peers are saying, but we want to pull out the emotion, ask the question, and try and apply reading or facts. If you see links of something where, it's a legitimate source, we can use those too. So anyway, just for you to really feel involved. For assignments, you're going to have a narrative and a final. These are our bigger assignments. They're worth a lot of points because you put a lot of effort into them. The narrative, I have another video on describing that, but I'm going to sum up it as quickly as I can, which is you're writing about your writing as you're writing. Okay, so the idea here is, who are you as a writer? What's influenced you? Your personality, the things that you've experienced in any way, shape, or form, even if it's not academic, has influenced you as a writer. And as we go through the next few weeks, you'll go, Oh, I see now. So anyway, you can read through on, again, where it says start here, narrative and the narrative rough draft, just read through. It'll give you a lot more information on what to expect for this class. The biggest thing is practice. So your first draft is going to be a rough draft. And a rough draft means it's your trying to figure out what you ultimately want to say. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It has to be something that what we'll do is take that and we're going to put it in a Google Doc. And your peers are going to be looking at that document and they're going to be commenting. They're not going to be editing it. They're just going to be responding and asking questions and engaging in it. So you will be sharing it with your peers, but what's really great about that is it is an opportunity to enlighten people to who you are, your experiences, because as a human, we are not terminally unique. We are not unique. We are all very human. Everyone feels the same way. At some point, somewhere in this world, someone has experienced what you have experienced. So just share it with us if you can. So we'll talk about more about vulnerability in a couple weeks. So just know that I encourage creativity in this assignment. I encourage openness, fluidity. It's a very open assignment, and some students want the structure. There's no structure. This is how are you going to tell the story? You can do it with videos. You can do it with TikToks. You still have to have writing, at least 3 pages, but at the same time, you are free to share with me how it looks to you. Okay, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So you can always message me if you have questions. For peer reviews, you will be peer reviewing your peers' narrative rough draft and the research rough draft. And with the narrative rough draft and the research rough draft, I'll show you how to do comments through Google. Super easy, but the biggest thing is just engaging with each other. Do a little highlight, add a little comment, add your comment. And the comment will say something along the lines of, oh, I have a question here. This is where I'm stuck. Tell me more. Like, you're going to be really involved in the paper, but you won't be correcting grammar and stuff because that comes with revision. And plus, if you went and did all this, editing and then they decide to take that out, then it was a complete waste of everybody's time. So what you want to do is read the work and try and figure out the ideas and then communicate with your peers on that. So, ta-da! You will also have what we call a source summary. You're going to have 2 source summaries. Each source summary is going to have 3 sources. So, one source summary is going to have 3. The second source summary is going to have 3. So you're going to have a total of 3 sources. I hope those numbers did not confuse you. So you have 2 source summaries total. So your first source summary is going to have 3 scholarly journals. So your first source summary is going to have scholarly journals. Again, I got a video on that one. I've got a rundown. I give you everything you need for that. So if you're just going, don't worry, don't panic. I've got it. I'm just trying to get through this quick for you. So your first source summary is going to be scholarly journals. I'm going to show you how to find those. And then your second source summary is going to come after your peer review, your rough draft is peer reviewed. And then you're going to do a second source summary. And that, again, 3 of your choice. As long as they're legitimate sources. I talk about that a little bit later too. So as a total, what you're doing here is your first source summary helps you write your first draft of your research paper. Then your peers are going to do their little thing. And then you take that information from your peers and then you do a second source summary to fill in the holes of all the places that you need maybe more information because it's such a rough draft, you just weren't sure where to go. You needed some suggestions. All right. And then once you're done with that second source summary, then you put it in, you have your final draft. And I'll talk about that in just a second. So anyway, that's how the source summaries go. You have your source summary, your rough draft of your research paper. It's your research paper, not your narrative. Sorry if I confused you. And then you have your second source summaries, and then you have your final paper. Ta-da! So everything I give you, so it feels big. It's like a big old elephant. And how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. So I give you all the little bites because those 6 sources that you used that you're like, I'm going to use these in my paper. You've already cited them correctly. You just take them and put them in your research paper. Ta-da! So I try to make this as easy as possible. You get to pick your research topic at the very end. So it gets big, it gets beautiful. Ta-da! I get goosebumps when I think about it. Every semester, students absolutely blow me away. So, especially when I give you freedom. So you do have a lot of freedom in this class, even though I do have a lot of work. The work is just to kind of give you guidelines on what I ultimately look for in the end. So, Final research paper, if you're scrolling down with me, I'm following, a little link. I'm sorry, not a link, a little list. It is a final culminating assignment. In other words, all the things that you've learned, all the tactics, all your abilities, all the readings, you come together. And what's cool is with this, again, you can make stuff. All right, you still need to do a 5 to 6 page research paper, but that is real easy. I've noticed students actually, they're like, that was like way easy because they've already been doing research. They love the topic. And I've had students go way beyond 6 pages into like 12 because they've just had such a good time with this research paper. I will go into more detail later, but the short, simple little bit of it is if you're scrolling down on that page, there's a little link where it says Final Research Paper Options. As a note, every research paper will come with a 5 to 6 page paper. You just have to do it. That way I can see where your sources are. Super easy. It comes together really easy. I say that because you might want to be stressing because you hear research. Don't worry about it. Piecemeal, one bite at a time. All right. When you click on that link, it's going to give you all the information on that final research paper. I will get into detail later for you, but for now, this is just giving you what we're doing in class. For your final research paper, you get an option of 3 different things, like 3 different ways you want to present this. So, or how you want to gather your information or present, I guess is the right word. The first one would be a community service journalistic research paper where, say you are concerned about the houseless here in Chico and you want to give time to, volunteer work or maybe cleaning up some stuff that's still going down in Paradise. Like, I don't know what that might look like to you. I don't know. Maybe there is one of the rehabilitation centers, there's volunteer work, all kinds of options where you're curious because you have a question, and that's the research paper is going to be a question that we answer, and you want to be a part of, and you go to that place. So that would be the journalistic research paper where your experience is a part of the research. You have a lot of research, but you get to utilize your experience in the place. So you could do that. You could do, I call a maker quest research paper. And I have students who will make videos, like, dialoguing their experience. Like, say you do the journalistic and you want to take videos, you want to create a video in your experience, add music. You can do whatever you want. You can do TikToks. TikToks would be the first time I've ever suggested this year. So you could do that. Again, movies, music, you can do what you need to do to share your ideas in a creative way. So I give that option. For me, ask me to make a thing and I'm on it. I don't care what it is. I'll make music, I'll make videos. Like it just makes me feel more involved versus sitting at a paper or sitting at a computer writing a paper. Though, if you would like, you can just do just a research paper, and that could be, your way of presenting it. It's just the paper, and that's fine too. You don't get marked down on whichever one you use. It's a you thing. This is how do you want to present the information. At the very end, though, you will be presenting the information in some way, shape, or form. If you're already making a video, you can include the video, music, some way that when you share it with your peers, you can say, here's all the information I found, and this is how I want to share it with you. You could do PowerPoints if it's easy for you, but give us something as if you're presenting it. And you can do what I do, where I sit in a chair and talk to a screen. Any way you want to share this, because you've done so much work. I want to see the glow in your face when you get done and you're like, I did it, look what I found. So anywho, that's pretty much what the research paper is. So again, if all of this feels daunting, don't panic. I give you just little tiny bits where all of a sudden it builds up at the end. You didn't even know how you got there. So as a heads up, for late assignments, I used to be like, no late assignments, never. Sometimes life happens. I get that. The problem is with late assignments, as you start turning them in, points start getting docked. And I think the best you could do would be like 5 points. So be mindful. It's like a percentage that it starts taking off of assignments when they get turned in late. So I just don't want you to be shocked if you turn something in late and then Canvas automatically starts deducting points. I can't give you full credit for late work, just kind of how the system's set up right now. So just try and be on time. If you're having issues for any reason, please reach out to me sooner than later. Don't wait till the last minute. If you wait till the last minute, there's only so much I can do. Again, I've got lots of other things on my end, so I try and be as present as possible. I will open up a Zoom link. If there's certain times that work best for you, I will try and be there. It'll most likely be open from like, I don't know, maybe 11 to 1 o'clock. I'll try and see if I can keep the Zoom open, or if you want to reach out to me and be like, hey, can we meet now? And then I'll try and be available for that. So anyway, I want to be as present as possible. I know that I'm behind a screen, but I still exist. So please reach out if you have questions. And yeah, I really want you to enjoy this class. And I hope this video wasn't too long. 20 minutes is a long time to sit. It's okay to pause. And it's okay to have played this video in the background while you're reading through stuff. So anyway, again, my name is Kylene. We are in English 2, and I'm wildly excited to be here this semester, and I hope you enjoy the class.